Beginning in May 1940, Germany invaded and occupied northwestern France. Europe rallied and fought hard, and the Americans joined the fight in 1941. It wasn't until 1944 when the Allies' combined effort started to turn the tides. The beginning of the end wasn't until June 6, 1944, but before that date we must rewind to 1943. Hitler was notified of Allies' plans to invade northern France. He had the 2,000-mile coast of northern France fortified with bunkers and water obstacles. The Allies knew they needed something that could turn the tides. In January of 1944, General Dwight D. Eisenhower was appointed commander of Operation Overlord. It was to be the largest amphibious military assault in history, and the Allies planned extensively for months in advance. The outcome of the war rested on the operation's success. They staked out areas of France, and after considering many, they settled on Normandy. To avoid a German counterattack, the Allies carried out a massive deception plot to make the Nazis believe the attack was farther north, and even not in France at all. This was very complicated, requiring fake equipment, a fake army, and fraudulent radio transmissions. 3 months prior to the attack, preparations were being made. Bridges were blown up, railways were crippled, and airfields were heavily attacked in the area. This was all to make the German defense harder. Once the desired date, June 5th, rolled around, the weather was so bad the operation delayed a day. Even though the weather still wasn't great, the attack commenced on June 6, 1944. Airborne troops were first dropped to secure the roads, and at dawn the amphibious attack began. There were more than 5,000 ships and 4,000 ship-to-shore transports that helped 156,000 troops storm the beaches that day. Each landing craft carried 36 soldiers with equipment, a gunner, and navigators. The Germans were confused by the absence of Commander Rommel, and Hitler thought it was a ploy to distract from the fake attack farther north. His refusal to send reinforcements resulted in delays when they realized they needed defenses. The British and Canadians were able to capture beaches Gold, Juno, and Sword without much trouble. The Americans were able to capture Utah Beach easily, but encountered heavy resistance at Omaha Beach. 2,000 Americans were lost at Omaha Beach alone, with more than 4,000 total casualties for the Allies by the end of the day. Over the next week, the beaches were secured, and they were able to send more troops and supplies into France. They advanced enough that by the end of August, Paris was liberated and the Germans were removed. Operation Overlord, now known as D-Day, turned the tide against the Nazis, and by May 8, 1945, the Nazis surrendered.